All right. So I think we can get started, folks. We're gonna do some intros, so folks have another minute or so to join in. So hello, everyone. My name is Deidre Dumpson, and I am the retail success manager for Above the Tree Line, which is the company behind Edelweiss Plus. Um, Prior to stepping in this role earlier this year, I was the operations manager at Word Bookstores, which has two locations, one in Brooklyn, New York, the other in Jersey City, New Jersey. So I'm super excited to kind of be in this role and to be able to work with and for booksellers across the country and the world. So yeah, before we jump into it, I'm actually going to pass it over to my colleague, Nikki.
Hi, everybody. My name is Nikki, also at Edelweiss Above the Tree Line. I'm a senior support and education specialist. And similar to Deidre, before coming here, I was a bookseller, events coordinator, and manager at a Boston area bookstore. So a lot of us at Tree Line, Deidre and I especially, have a great passion for helping bookstores use our tools most effectively. And I'm just going to be hanging out in the chat during the webinar. So as Deidre's going through, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them in the chat and I can answer them there or make sure that they are addressed at the end of the webinar.
All right, so a quick thing to note before we officially begin, the session is being recorded. So if you do need to pop out or if you feel like you missed anything or you want to circle back to something, the video recording will be shared later and we'll show you where you can access that. And I do want to quickly note for folks that might be joining that don't really know or haven't used Edelweiss before and you're here to get to know what is available to you. At its core, Edelweiss Plus is a digital platform that publishers use to manage their catalogs and review copies. The platform was established with booksellers in mind, and the goal was to have a central space where booksellers can streamline certain practices like ordering and title discovery that were necessary for the maintenance of their stores. So how is Edelweiss Plus a tool for frontline booksellers, you may be asking? An informed staff, as it said in the description for this session today, is a better staff. So from the simple act of browsing catalogs to downloading review copies and writing reviews, tagging, writing notes on titles, frontline staff can use Edelweiss for their own interests, as well as enhancing the Edelweiss use of your store's buyers and other team members. So today we'll discuss some of the basic features that are free to access and how you can utilize them to your and your team's advantage. So now I am going to turn off my camera and start sharing my screen. As Nikki said, if you have any questions, please share them in the chat. I'm going to kind of go through an overall overview of the tools that you all can use, and then I will be leaving space at the end to address any questions that may come up. So don't worry, we're here and gonna just get right into it. All right. Nikki, stop me if you are not seeing my screen right now. So for those of you that are new to Edelweiss, or maybe you don't have an account set up yet, if you are looking for Edelweiss, you are just going to go into your browser and our site is edelweiss.plus. Once you're here, you can create a free account by clicking over here, create a free account, filling out this information here, and you will be set up and you can start using the site. If your store already has an organization or store account in Edelweiss and you just want to be added to your store's account, I'm going to show you in a second how your store's owner or a manager, essentially an account administrator, can add you to your store's account. So once you are set up and you're here in Edelweiss Plus, all you need to do is enter your login information here, and you can just sign in like that. This is what your Edelweiss Plus home screen can look like. And we'll talk more about this. It is completely customizable, but before I jump into that, I do want to quickly show if there are any managers or folks that have user administration here, or you can share this information with someone that does have these privileges. If they would like to add you to the store's account, all they would need to do is click their initials or profile photo over here, head over to your profile and account from this menu, jump over to account users, and then at the bottom of the list of users within your organization, you'll see a button to add user, and they could just enter your email address and you'll receive an email to set up your account. Another thing of note here is when you head over to your profile and account, this is where you will also see your account's basic information, which is where you will be able to set up your profile. Your profile is just letting other folks on Edelweiss know who you are, where you work, and kind of what's your position in the book industry. So if you are listed here as a bookseller, you'll also see what privileges you have. And down here in your profile is where you can just share some information about your position at the bookstore, kind of what you do, what your reading interests are, and other things like links to your blog, or any other blogging account that you may be using. Oh, sorry. Okay. So once you set that up, this profile is what publishers will see if you are requesting a digital review copy through Edelweiss. And we'll talk through that more later on, but this is where you would enter in and save that information. So back to your homepage. So your Edelweiss Plus homepage is completely customizable. Each of these squares that you see here on your home screen, these are what we call widgets. These widgets can be moved around on your screen by clicking on this grid icon here. And you see you can just move it around. You can also remove a widget by clicking this X here. And you can add a widget to your home screen by clicking this Add Widget button to the right of your screen. You'll see that there are a number of widgets that you can have. Some that are popular amongst booksellers is seeing what bookish events are happening. Review copies widgets. So you can have a widget that just lists what new digital review copies are on the site, what digital review copies are available for immediate download, which are available for requests. You can also have a widget that shows your current requests, if they're pending, if they're approved, and also a widget for if the review copies that you've already downloaded. Excuse me. There are other widgets like looking at publishers. Publisher list is essentially just a list of the publishers that have catalogs on Edelweiss Plus. You can look through this list and favorite publishers so that when you're looking through catalogs, it's easier for you to get to the publishers that you want to see. Other widgets, save filters, which we're going to talk about later. Title lists, so you can tag titles and create lists of titles that way, but also just look at general tags that you have across your company, which we're gonna get into what those are, and the list goes on. But there are a number of widgets that you can have here, and it's flexible to whatever you need to quickly access on the site. So the first thing, or the first tool that we are going to cover today is searching for titles. So there are a number of ways that you can look for and discover new titles in Edelweiss. The first that I will mention today is using the search bar, which is located right here in the dark gray navigation bar at the top of your Edelweiss Plus homepage. So if you are searching for a book, all you really need to do is just type in the book that you are looking for. So I'm going and you can hit enter. And any of the titles that are relevant to what you search will come up. If you would like to refine what you are looking for, essentially pare down the parameters of or the searchable elements that you're using to find a title, you could click this gear icon here. And you'll see that you can either highlight or unhighlight any of these attributes or elements here, as well as make it specific to frontlist, which are titles that have not been published yet, or backlist, which is titles that have been out and on shelves for a period of time. So you can use those refinements there. And so once you find a title, there are a number of things that you'll be able to see here. First, obviously, cover image, title, author, if a title is frontlist or backlist, when was it published, ISBN, format, pricing, genre, as well as subgenres that are applied by the publisher. Page count, if it's a part of a series, the parameters or size of the book, as well as other things like whether or not other people in the industry are talking about it. There is other things like looking at the summary here, which is great to use for events or book clubs. If you want to just grab a quick description of the book, you can grab it from here. Bios for the authors, as well as any relevant links to images, as well as social media accounts, and other quotes and reviews that are here for you to access. Another thing that you can look at here is comps, which are comparable titles that a publisher assigns or a sales rep assigns to a title. And what it's saying is if your customers or if you enjoy these books, or if you enjoy this author, you might enjoy this title, or you should definitely keep an eye out for this title as well. And so while actually, before I jump into that, I'm going to show you another way that you can discover titles. So another way that you can find titles, especially titles that are not out yet in the world, is by looking through catalogs. So you can do that by clicking this catalogs tab up here. And so essentially, a lot of people think that catalogs are just for buyers to look through to order books for the store, which of course is one of the main reasons that they exist. But they're also there for booksellers and other industry folks to discover what books, what titles a publisher has coming out. And it's also a way for buyers to collaboratively work through catalogs and get insight and input from the rest of their staff, and use that to make more informed or better or more confident buying decisions. So just gonna jump into this Grove Atlantic one. Ooh. So if you are looking through a catalog, essentially you're going to see all the information that you saw if you just search for a title. And what's great is that there are a number of tools that you can use here to kind of highlight a book or a title for your buyer to see, or for just for other staff members to see and to get their eyes on a specific title if you think that it's going to be something that you should definitely have in your store. If you think it would be great for a book club, if you know that this is going to be one of your staff picks in the future. These are all things that you can note here for your buyer or other staff members to see. And so a lot of those functions will be right here at the bottom right of a title card. You will also be able to see these if you switch over to the 2-column view, which is just a condensed version of a catalog. So if you don't want to scroll through all the information that is there and available through catalogs, you can switch over to the 2-column view, and you'll still be able to access these tools here. Gonna switch back over. Ooh. So the first tool that you see here is writing a review. So if this is a book that maybe you accessed a review copy for, or you had a physical galley and you wanted to review it, you would just click this review button here. And you'll see that you can insert some overall ratings for just how the book was overall, or specific things like writing quality, character development, so on and so forth. Over here is where you can write your review, however long or short you'd like. And then you can also enter or tag some themes that you think are relevant to that book. The last thing that you can do here when you're reviewing a title is you could share it with the publisher. But important if you want your store's buyer to see or other staff members to see, you're going to want to share it with your colleagues. And you can also share it with your friends in Edelweiss as well as communities that you're a part of. The great thing as well for booksellers is if you are an American Bookseller Association affiliate store, you can submit or nominate titles for any next through here, through Edelweiss as well. And so once you do all of that, you just save it and your review will be there. So I'm just gonna share an example. And so when your buyer or other staff members are looking at that same catalog, you'll see up here that there is one title where a review has been submitted. And they can and make sure, especially if it's something that will be a staff pick, that they order a few copies into the store. Other tools that are available are shelving titles. And so you can mark titles as anticipating, highly anticipating, currently reading, finish reading, did not finish, or you can favorite it here. You can also write notes that will be visible to your buyers or other staff members at the store. And you could say things like, local author, or you can say, love their work. And that way you can make sure that that is visible to your buyers so that they know this is something that you recommend they order into the store. And so similar to reviews, they'll see if a note was left on a title right here at the top of the catalog screen. A great tool and one of my favorite features that I used as a bookseller was tagging titles. Tagging titles is a great way to collaboratively work on title lists. You can put together collections of titles as well as curate displays and things like that. What we used it for a lot is submitting our monthly staff picks. And so each month we would just have a tag that would be staff pick June 22. And so you would just make sure that the rest of your staff knows to use that staff pick to tag their staff pick. How many times can I say staff pick? But to tag their pick for that month. And that way you'll be able to quickly access a list of all of the picks for that month. And you can either download that list and upload it onto your site, onto things like bookshop.org. You can also quickly access the reviews to send out a staff picks newsletter, or if you want to put together some signage for the store, you can kind of collect all of that information here so that it'll be easier to access over and over again for whatever your needs are. As well as make note for buyers that this is a staff pick, so we should absolutely have a solid stack in the store. So as I showed you before, you can check if a title has been loved by somebody else on Edelweiss. And so if you want to love a title, all you have to do is click this much love button here. And then you are also able to share a link to a specific title on social media or send a quick email by clicking this share icon over here. There are other tools like adding a title to a collection, which I am going to talk about that further in a sec. Bookmarking a title. So if you are looking through a catalog, so say for example, your buyer needs help and needs you to look through all the romance titles in a catalog. A lot of the time, catalogs are super long, and no one can sit there and look through an entire catalog in one sitting. So if you bookmark a title, you'll be able to save where you were so that it'll be easy to return to where you left off when you go back to a catalog. You can also create a PDF if you'd like, as well as export this title to a file where you can have either the ISBN or other title information that you might need. So just to show you really quickly, if you are tagging titles and if you wanted to quickly see where You can access those lists. You would just pop over to the tags page. And over here, you'll be to the left of your screen, you'll be able to see your tags as well as your organization's tags, where you will be able to see the full list of all the titles that everyone in your staff has tagged using whatever specific tag you are using that month. So that is catalogs. Now, another way that you can look for books, especially a great way or a tool that you can use if you are looking for something specific, is by creating a save filter. To create a save filter, you would just pop over to your Save Filters page by clicking the Save Filters icon from your navigation bar. And so once you are here, you'll be able to edit any filters that you already have. But what I'm going to show you right now is how to create a new filter. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see at the bottom of My Save Filters, Add New Filter. So once you click that, this is where you will be able to name, create, and save a save filter, which will let you look at look for a list of titles that fall within whatever specific attributes you are looking for. So an example could be, we know that Bookstore Romance Day is coming. I want to order some more books into the store, but maybe you aren't sure what's coming out. And so we are going to be looking at forthcoming, or maybe we want to call it our Bookstore Romance Day filter. The first thing we're going to look at is subject. And subject is a list of BISAC categories that are used across publishing houses. And so I want to specifically look for romance. And romance is a subcategory of fiction. So to expand or to look at what categories fall under a BISAC category, you just click this or expand this menu here, and then you can scroll down and look for romance. Now maybe you have a niche store that, or you specifically want to highlight a specific type of romance. For example, I want potentially romance that also has magical realism elements or science fiction elements to it. You can add as many or remove as many subject categories as you'd like. You can make it whatever you need it to be. The next thing I'm going to look at is publication date. So maybe you want to have a romance that is coming out within over the summer. So you can start today looking out a month or 2 months or 3. You can also just look at all front lists, or you can specifically enter a date range that you would like to have. So I know Bookstore Romance Day is usually at the end of August, so we wanna give ourselves some space. Okay. And so once you have the filters or attributes that you want to see, you click save. And you will have your new save filter. So you could just look if it's not a large list of titles, like you'll see this filter down here has 13,000 titles. That is too large to load, but you can apply that in other places, which I will show you. But if it's a shorter list of titles, then you can just look at the save filter itself and look through here, and maybe see or tag titles or create a collection of titles for Bookstore Romance Day. So if the difference between tagging titles and creating a collection is tags are a great way for you to work collaboratively with your team, because other folks can tag titles and add to that list. If you create a collection, this is just a collection of titles that you want other folks to look at, but it will not be a title list that other folks can edit or add to. So to create a collection, all you have to do is first highlight whatever titles you want to add by clicking that check mark here. And then from that other actions menu and the light gray bar, and you'll see this in catalogs as well as in other places in Edelweiss Plus. And in this menu here, you'll see add to collection. If you don't already have a collection created, you could just say Bookstore Romance 22. And then add that, and then you have your new collection. And so this collection can be ordered from, and it can also be shared with folks in your organization by just clicking that edit icon there, and then clicking share collection, and you can share it with your colleagues. That is that. Another place, which will lead us into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is review copies. But another place where you can apply save filters is looking through review copies as well as catalogs. So I'm just going to quickly show you. If you're in a catalog, you can apply that save filter here. Books are romancing. But the best place, or one of the most popular places that save filters are applied, is when looking at review copies. And so digital review copies are galleys that are in digital form. And so here on the review copies page, you can look through all of the digital review copies that have been added to the site within a specific date range by editing that. By clicking this calendar icon, you can either expand or limit the time frame. You can look at what review copies are specifically available for download immediately, as well as requests, similar to the widgets that you can have on your home screen. This is where you can kind of look at that full list, as well as all the title information that's available. Another exciting way that you can access digital review copies is by using Edelweiss Reader. So digital review copies that are available to download are accessible through a third-party app like Adobe Digital Editions, Pocketbook Reader, or Aldeco Reader. And so our team has been working hard to kind of minimize the amount of work that is involved in accessing review copies by developing and creating our new Edelweiss Reader. And so Edelweiss Reader is just an insight reader where you can just click this open book Edelweiss reader icon, and it will open up the book right there in your browser. So it's a great way for you to access review copies on your phone or a tablet, even on your computer if you prefer. And it's a great way for buyers as well as other folks to take a quick peek at a title to see if it's something that your customers might like. So when you are looking at these review copies, if you do not want to look through the full list, obviously you can reduce the amount of time you're looking at. But like we were talking about earlier, you can always apply a save filter. So for example, if you are really trying to look for more young adult, you can apply a young adult filter, genre filter, to the list of review copies. And that way, you'll see now we're only looking at 194 titles rather than 1,000 plus. And so you can look for the review copies that are relevant to what you read and recommend and hand sell at your store. So Ooh, sorry, my mouse is being weird. Aside from your own save filters, there are a number of genre filters that were already created by the Edelweiss team that you can access here. So you can always take a look at these to see if any of these are relevant to what you're looking for and apply those. But if you want to apply more attributes, like I was talking about, like date range, or publication date range, things like format, or if you want to look at even a specific vendor or publisher, you can do that by using or creating your own custom save filter. So that's review copies, save filters, finding all of the books. Like I said before, you can always review any of the titles that you receive or download a review copy for, but you can also review any title that you read. It doesn't have to just be a book that you access through Edelweiss. Another place where you can access review copies as well as look through title lists and engage with other booksellers is by using Edelweiss Community. You can access Edelweiss Community by clicking this icon here, this Edelweiss Community icon here in your dark gray navigation bar. So once you click that, you'll be taken over to Edelweiss Community, and this is where you can search for and join a community. There are a number of genre communities. There's also an American Booksellers Association community, as well as most or several of the regionals have communities set up as well. You can set up your own community by clicking this plus icon up here. And once you do that, or once you join a community, what you'll see is a number of things. The first is collaborative lists. And so these are lists of titles that are either shared by one person that is just sharing a list of titles that they recommend, or it could be a list that someone starts that several folks within the community are jointly working on. And so you'll be able to see the books within that list as well as vote on them if you want to affirm them being on the list. You can share comments as well on the title list, and if it is open to be edited by anyone in the community, you can add titles simply by clicking the add title button here, and you can just search for the book or the title, or you can enter the ISBN or a list of ISBNs down here. Another thing that you'll be able to see are events. So if you are specifically in a community and someone shares an event for that community, you'll see that here. But just to go back to the general Edelweiss community page, this is where you'll be able to see all upcoming or past events that have been shared via Edelweiss community. And you can check them out, sign up for them, get more information about the authors and titles featured. Buzz is where you will be able to see what titles are most reviewed and loved on in a specific community or across Edelweiss. Which is what you're seeing now. But if you go into a specific community, this buzz will be showing you what's being buzzed about amongst those community members. And so here is the average rating, and to the right is where you see the number of reviews. So if you want to just discover like what are people buzzing about that has been out for a few months, or books that haven't come out yet, that are coming out soon, you can look through that here. You can also just, similar to Edelweiss Plus, look through new review copies that are available and quickly access them here on the site. So either through Edelweiss Reader or downloading it. You'll also be able to review and nominate titles just like you would be able to on Edelweiss Plus, and see or start any conversations or thoughts around a specific title or within a community as well. Any of the collections that you create, you'll be able to see them down here. And to the left of that is where you are seeing titles that you shelved either as highly anticipating, currently reading, so on and so forth. And so, yeah, so that is Edelweiss community. If you are looking through, or if this is your first time perusing and you would like to join a community, you can either search for, you could search for one by clicking over here, but where it says 95 more, it might not say that exactly on yours. So we have general genre communities that are just looking at the overall genres that are popular, or maybe it's not so popular, but it's something you love and you want to find other people that love it just as much as you. Communities that require a valid ID just means that you need to either work for or be an affiliate of that organization. That is what would apply for the American Booksellers Association community. And then there are other just user communities that you can look through and join. If you would like to join a community, you would just click the join community button here, and you will be a part of that community. So that is Edelweiss community. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. No, great. So that is kind of a general overview of ways that you can look for titles, find titles, interact with Edelweiss, as well as share information with the rest of your staff. I know that it is a lot. There are a lot of ways to do the things that you want to do. The goal or the point, I think, is to figure out what do you need for the site, from the site, or what would you like to do with the site, and then find a place to start. You can always return to this recording, but what is also a great tool is that our support and education team have put together a number of support documents that could help you learn to navigate the site, or could maybe answer a question that you have as you are getting to learn how to use Edelweiss. You can access those support documents by clicking this help button here at the top of your navigation screen, but you'll also see this help icon throughout the site. And what it will do is lead you to the support documents that are specific to the tool that you are trying to use at that moment. And so you can also access these documents by going to help.edelweiss.plus. You can access kind of the overall articles or support documents that are available by clicking bookseller within that knowledge base. So just booksellers, and you'll see the list of documents here. But you can also head over to our bookseller training page by clicking that, and what you'll see here is our support documents kind of broken down into how you can use Edelweiss, get started in a way that may not feel as overwhelming if you were to just approach it on your own. So you can always access that also through help.edelweiss.plus. Before I start answering questions, I also want to mention that we have Edelweiss University, which is just university.edelweiss.plus. And here there are a number of step-by-step certifications, videos that you can kind of use and kind of apply it or use it at your own pace so that you are not overloading or overwhelming yourself with information. So you can always pause, take a break, have a snack, whatever you need while you learn how to use Edelweiss. You can also always contact us by emailing support@abovethetreeline.com. And also, if you run into any issues while using the site, if something's not loading, or you're finding that something is happening on the site that you think might be a larger issue, you can quickly click this feedback widget, or smiley widget as we call it here, at the right of your screen, and you can just share what your experience has been like and alert us to something that we maybe should be aware of. Or you can also just say, I'm loving it here. It's really great. So that is kind of the end of my overview. I am going to now look at the chat to make sure, or Nikki, if you want to tell me if there are questions that I can maybe demo quickly.
There weren't too many questions in the chat. One thing maybe to quickly demo is how you would search for titles for, say, an author from a specific location, or like certain types of authors. The example in the question was, is it possible to search for titles by deaf authors? So that might be helpful.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Wait. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My mouse is not working. Yes, so if you are looking for information or looking for maybe a general like list of authors, so I am currently located in, Richmond, Virginia. So you can use these searchable elements to kind of to expand what you are looking for. So if an author or if a publisher has shared information, like whether or not an author is deaf, or whether or not an author is located in a specific area. You can highlight contributor bio here, and you can search for something like and that way, and if you want to make sure, I'm sorry, I'm going to do that over because I want to remove other stuff. And so you'll see that anything that the publishers have tagged in regards to like story locale, or specifically the contributor's bio, if they're located in Virginia, then that'll come up in the search.
Thanks, Deidre. One next question is, can we talk about what kinds of certifications Edelweiss University offers, which I can address if you don't want to.
It's totally fine. So I can just pop back over and just show you right here. So what's great is if you are at a store and you want to make sure, like if you're a buyer and you really want your other team members to be able to look through catalogs and help you out with stuff, you can just say wait. Okay, I'm like, why was that being weird? You can share the certification just for Edelweiss Plus for booksellers. And so that will just say that you completed this certification and have the basic bookseller knowledge. I hope that is answering the question though. Nikki, tell me if I'm not answering it.
Yeah, and I would just like to add to, I guess in university, it'll kind of keep track of the certifications that you've completed. We are kind of working on a way where we can integrate those certifications into the main site. So like, you know, some kind of icon or something would show up on your profile to like show you'd completed that training, but we're not quite there yet.
Great. And Nikki, is there anything else that you think that I may have missed that will be helpful to bring up today?
Oh, a question. What makes a publisher more likely to grant you a review copy request?
Oh, yeah. Sure. So kind of just returning to what we talked about in the beginning, setting up your profile is key. A lot of publishers will share titles with booksellers overall. So ensuring that your profile is set up as a bookseller or retailer is important as well. So you just want to make sure, like here, that they know that it's a retail store. And then you enter your profile information here. So if you're a buyer, you can say you buy books, or if you're just a frontline bookseller, you can put that information here, but share things like I personally read and recommend science fiction and fantasy, or for myself, right? Like I read a lot of Caribbean literature. So those are things that you would want to include in your profile. But the great thing about being a bookseller is that a lot of publishers will make their titles automatically available for booksellers. And so more often than not, it'll be available for media download. But for the ones that are not, that are available by request, it's important that you have your profile information updated and accurate, so that they know. Oh, another way to better your chances for review copies is also to be active in Edelweiss. Review books, nominate them for Indie Next if you're an ABA affiliate. But just also just reviewing titles, share that with the publisher as often as you'd like. And that way they'll get a better sense of what books that you like and that you're engaging with and hand selling. And we'll make sure that you can get access to books that are aligned with your tastes.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you can see that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm looking now, so I can see. Yes, definitely. There is value in that. Again, just for obviously you can keep your or store your reviews here in Edelweiss if you would like to just kind of keep them in one place, so that you can easily access them if you need to, like share a staff pick somewhere. But also the more titles that you review, the better chances that you will get access to a digital review copy. But also publishers use that information to send physical review copies to stores. So if they are seeing that you're engaging with a specific author or a genre, then they might be inclined to send you a physical review copy. And it's always nice to get some book mail from publishers. I can answer one more question. If anybody has another question, I'd be happy to answer. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now. And I will come back on camera. I don't know why I needed to walk everyone through that, but I did. So I just want to say thank you again to everyone for joining today's session. What I will share, if you forgot, okay, it's right here. Please make sure that you sign up for any and all of our summer webinar sessions. We have a lot more happening this summer, and we'd love for all of you to join. If there's anything, any questions or any follow-up, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at support at Above the Tree Line. And we really appreciate you spending some of your afternoon, I think it's afternoon for everyone, with us. And with that, we will send you all off. So thank you.